Kendrick was born premature, so he's only 2 pounds, 15 ounces. Age 1.5, he walks late, and then after that, then we had no language. So we couldn't understand what was happening. At 3 years old, the early triggers were no language, running back and forth repetitively in the house, stimming. The food issue, he was only eating certain items, and his vision.
I thought, he was very withdrawn, not really interacting with a lot of the kids. He could basically do things by himself. Didn't need a lot of children to kind of play with. He would get into his own little world and entertain himself.
And then once he was in school, that first year, then the teacher said, Kendrick's starting to do some things that I'm kind of worried about.
I was a bit in denial. He's fine. He just has to grow up a bit and grow out of it. And as time went along and the progress was not being kept up and everything, so we just thought that it was very important that we get him diagnosed.
I'm Danny Williamson. I'm a developmental pediatrician, which means that I see children who have problems with development.
X, yeah, that's an X.
His history was very similar to most histories in terms of having difficulties with communicating and interacting, and that led the parents to being concerned and seeking a diagnostic evaluation. As with any evaluation, what you hope is that you're able to get across the message that there are issues, but that with appropriate interventions we can make gains or have the child make gains.
Good, Kendrick.
He gave us the diagnosis of PDD-NOS.
Good, Kendrick. There you go. The nose. Oh, the mouth. Pretty color.
Pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified. So I'm looking like that's foreign language.
What about this fish? He's gonna get
water.
Wet.
It was fear the whole time. Every time we had to make a decision to make a change to try to get him the extra help. Is that the right move? Fear, butterflies, scared. And then to get the diagnosis and now decide as a parent, do I leave him in the public school system or do I change him and put him at this private school? Am I doing the right thing?
They were concerned, they were ready to know what to do, where to go about getting services and how to go about that so that we could see some excellent gains.
He would go in, get with the teachers, sit down. You're going from knowing this information to seeing not just one child, but a classroom full of children that are diagnosed on the spectrum. The turning point for me was seeing Kendrick in school, in that setting, in that environment, and knowing that he needed the help that was there for him to get.
He had speech therapy, and they had occupational therapy. We then would take him to another speech pathologist that would work with him for an hour. And then from there, he would go to an occupational therapist for another hour because we were very set on being intense because there's no diagnosis that's the same. So what worked for one little one didn't necessarily work for Kendrick. From there, by December of that year, then we had 3-word sentences.
Dangerous.
So we're like, yes, this is working, this is working. But the work doesn't stop at the end of the day. Because once he's home, you now have to continue all that has been done during the day to make sure that process stays fresh in their head.
Yeah, every day when I go to school. When I go home, my mom and dad just help me when I do my homework.
And what do we do? What do I make you do every day? You have to do what?
Read.
Oh, is that your favorite?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Not all the time.
You like this path.
You catch it early, and that's what we try to tell everyone that we run across.
Can I get a hug? You finished.
You must put the intense work in,
You are so smart, baby.
because that's what's going to change from then to now.
But there's no magic point. You never know when that light bulb is going to go off, so you have to work intense.
Off the backboard. Good.
You have to pay attention to
Hurry,
what's
shoot
going
again.
on and focus in on once he reaches this level, what's the next thing that we have to work on to get him to the next point.